Well, hi, Miss and classmates. This is my interview. So he is my expert, and he is Daniel Valle, graduated from Zamorano, class 2014, and actually he is a research assistant. So, well, we're gonna start with the interview. My topic is the Rhizobium use in the crops. So you can tell me about more or less in what consists or what is the Rhizobium?
Well, Rhizobium is a bacteria that works with the plant of mainly with legumes, and specifically in this case with bean, which is the most important crop for us, and it works in a benefic way to the plant in that it can do a mutual relationship, benefic relationship by nitrogen fixation.
Okay. So the Rhizobium cannot develop in other kind of plants apart to legume.
Yeah, that's the main thing in Rhizobium. It just works with legumes and it doesn't work with other crops. You cannot do it with grasses or with horticultural crops. No, just with legumes.
Okay. So what was the main reason that triggered a research an alternative in terms of nitrogen fixation?
Well, the main reason of working with Rhizobium is because mainly all the agriculture that it's done in Central America and the Caribbean, it's like in very low fertility in soils, right? In nitrogen and in phosphorus. So all our agricultures, they work in this kind of soils, and they need an alternative. Instead of using synthetic fertilizers, they can work with Rhizobium.
Okay. I was reading about that the Rhizobium also was an alternative to, and some producers or farmers had an excessive use of nitrogen fertilizers, and the Rhizobium is an alternative to decrease the
use of the. Yeah, it's a good alternative, and it can work as a complete substitute, even because the idea is that you will replace the use of synthetic fertilizers, and instead you will use Rhizobium. It's because they're expensive, right? And not all of the people have access to them. So Rhizobium, it's a very good alternative, and you can substitute entirely during all the crop cycle. You can use Rhizobium at the planting and without using any other nitrogen fertilizer. Then you add another type of fertilizer, but not nitrogen fertilizer.
Oh, okay. So what do you think that was the first impact by the uses of Rhizobium, considering the aspect in the society and the farmers?
Yeah, well, it had a very good impact. I think they accepted and because it's something natural and because it's less expensive than using fertilizer. So a lot of agricultures prefer to use Rhizobium instead of using these kind of synthetic fertilizers.
Well, a question more specific about the Rhizobium is does Rhizobium need special factors to have a good development?
Yeah. Basically, it has to be increased, or it works better in soils that have low fertility. basically nitrogen and low organic matter, low percentage of organic matter. If you have excessive organic matter, then that inhibits the work of the bacteria. And well, if you have too low pH, also that affects. If you have excess of water, that will be a problem also for Rhizobium.
Farmer want to use a Rhizobium, but he has some problem like you described before. What which will be the recommendation?
What kind of problem did you say?
I don't know. Example, if the farmer wants to use the Rhizobium, but he has excess of water. Or,
what can be a solution for that?
Or recommendation to.
Well, you have to make drainage, right? You have to first take away all the excess of water and then start to work with that. You cannot work. You can even plant with if you have excess of water, right?
So in the case that we had a excess of organic material, what will be the recommendations?
Well, if you have excessive organic matter, then that would probably means that you have a good amount of nitrogen also, right? So that wouldn't be like the best scenario for using Rhizobium.
About the advantages and disadvantages of the Rhizobium use, what are the advantages and disadvantages?
Well, disadvantages, maybe the limitations that we just talked, right? About the environment that it has, that the bacteria need to develop. But then you can mention a lot of advantages, right? The ability of these bacteria to make the biological fixation of nitrogen, it's the most important because you reduce 30-40% the use of synthetic fertilizers. And well, that's something important because the people or the market tendencies toward the use of natural stuff, right? And then if you use Rhizobium, it's like a better thing to offer.
And do you think that by comparing the results obtained between a conventional crop and the crop with Rhizobium, they have have they been favorable?
Like the results, you mean like in the yields, in the amount of kilograms per acre? Yeah, you can have, even though using Rhizobium, you can have good yields, right, in the crops. Sometimes they're not as good as when you use fertilizers, but it is compensated because you instead do not like use a lot of money also. So it's like a relationship of evaluating costs and benefits, right? But you can have similar yields using Rhizobium or instead using synthetic fertilizers.
Okay. As you said me before, that when we use the Rhizobium, we can to replace completely the nitrogen fertilizer. But according to the learning by doing biological control, say that where as Rhizobium is a kind of bioremediation, is an alternative to decrease the use of fertilizer, but not to replace for compost. You are agree with this or no?
Yeah, it's just the thing that I've been saying, because with Rhizobium you can replace the synthetic fertilizer, but that involve nitrogen. But then you have to supply, instead you need to supply
phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, because Rhizobium will not supply all those macro elements. It will just supply the requirements of nitrogen. Instead, you still need to buy another fertilizer. Right?
Okay. And as time elapses, so those technology, it's possible to development other microorganisms more better or more efficient than Rhizobium, or the Rhizobium is only to recommend.
Yeah, you can. Well, I don't know if you can develop like better organisms, because it's like we don't talk about better or worse organisms naturally, but what you can do is present in better commercial ways Rhizobium, right? If you have, we usually sell Rhizobium as a 250 gram presentation, but you can present something that it's not commonly sold in Honduras, but yes, it is in other countries, in a liquid Rhizobium in a liquid presentation, and that can be administered through irrigation, drop irrigation. Well, that's for Rhizobium, but of course, in other kind of crops, there are similar bacteria, not of the gender Rhizobium, but other bacteria that do the same kind of work of biological fixation of nitrogen, but in other crops. So it's like you have different organisms for each crop or each family.
Just because I want to reading about the Frankia. It's a bacteria that also is fixing in nitrogen.
Yeah.
So
In what crop?
and I can remember the it's Aracroyala,
Well,
something like that.
but it's like garden plants or what kind of?
Yes, it's a kind of, the name of bacteria was Frankia.
No,
But it's not for lemon.
yeah.
Well, and the last question is Zamorano as an agriculture university focuses on development on Latin America. Had or present a project to promote the use of Rhizobium?
Yes, we do. Zamorano has a program focused on research on bean, specifically on bean. And so in here, we sell this product, we promote the use of Rhizobium, and we sell this product to different enterprises, to different agricultural organizations. And so Zamorano, it does. It promotes this use of Rhizobium.
Okay. What do you hear about the promotes the use Rhizobium in Latin America?
What I hear about what?
If other organizations or
Oh,
universities had promotes.
Yeah, well, not other universities, but there is a national initiative, the government in Comayagua. They are establishing a laboratory specifically for the production of Rhizobium and the commercialization of Rhizobium. And they have been working like in the last 2 or 3 years in establishing the lab, but well, it has been very slow, the process, but probably in 3 or 4 years from here on, I hope that they will have something established. And they usually come, they have been here asking for orientation, and Zamorano provides that guidance for them.
Okay. Well, thank you for accepting my interview, and thank you, Miss and Toysmate, for watching my video.